What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Starfield video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my top tips and things to know while playing Starfield. I do got a pretty beefy list here, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. So the first tip I wanted to talk about is inventory management, because this will be a consistent problem that most people have throughout Starfield, especially first starting off, because you don't really have a lot of space. And you will be looting a lot of stuff because you'll need stuff for weapon crafting and armor crafting and upgrades and all that other stuff. So my recommendation is, of course, when you get to your starship, dump as many resources into the ship as well. And then, of course, try to focus your skill points into weight training. There is a couple starting classes that do have this to give you a little bit more extra carrying capacity. And then as soon as you have some credits, I would say try to dump some more cargo spaces onto your ship. That way you can carry more stuff, and then just kind of gradually do that in between quests. Like if you get a lump sum of credits from a quest or taking out a pirate camp or anything like that, just go ahead, upgrade your ship, and then as you level up, just keep putting points and points into the weight training because it will help out later on. And then also when you get a companion, you can go ahead and dump some of that space into their inventory. They don't have a lot, but it's better than nothing. And then also there is a skill, I believe it's under the social tab, where you later on can have your companion carry more carrying capacity, so that way you can dump more and more items as well. But I would stick to the weight training skill first. So the next tip I want to go over is how to dock ships. Now I know sometimes this may sound pretty self-explanatory, but I was actually having a little bit of a struggle with this because as soon as I touched down into Atlantis, I was going off doing side quests and didn't really touch the main mission and stuff like that. And I went ahead and I was trying to get to a part where I had to dock onto a ship, and I did not know how to do it. But later on the game kind of tells you how, but in order to do that, you have to actually aim it by pressing E on the keyboard. I don't know what it is on Xbox right now, but if you press E on the keyboard, you actually have to aim at what you're trying to dock, and then you hold the R button to dock or hold E to hail it. And yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much it. And then especially when you are going to take control ships and steal ships, this is the option that you have to use as well. You have to select it, you have to target it, and then hold R to dock. So just a little quick tip there. So the next tip I want to go over is choose your skills wisely, and especially when it comes to the combat, because you will depending on your build, you actually will probably only put like maybe 3 or 4 skills into this combat tree, because depending on what you want to use, if you want to use ballistics, if you want to use lasers, if you want to use particle beam weapons, you can pretty much do that. And if you want to switch to pistols or only do rifles or only do shotguns, they got skills for each and every one of those types of guns. But there is also a bunch of quality of life skills as well, such as persuasion, because there's a bunch of persuasion attempts you can do. There's commerce, where you can buy less, sell more, which is always great. Of course, the weightlifting one that I had mentioned earlier, if you are a stealthy type, do the stealth build, so that way you get more damage. Suppressed weapons do a lot more damage as well. And of course, research data, and then weapon engineering, spacesuit design, piloting. These are all pretty much quality of life skills to help you further enhance your gameplay with Starfield. And before we go on to our next tip, guys, if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest games coming out, we provide you with reviews, tips and tricks such as this one, highlights, you name it, we got you covered here at Lost Daze Gaming. So drop a like on this video and consider subscribing for more content coming your way. We also live stream here on the channel on YouTube every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I have them scheduled so that way you guys can check that out as well. And I also want to invite you to our Lost Daze Gaming community over at Discord, where you can talk about games or team up with a partner. We would love to see our community grow and possibly have our viewers and subscribers play with us on one of our live streams. And I'm also going to try a new thing where I'm going to try and record pretty much a bunch at one time, so that way I can schedule them and plan them out on YouTube throughout the week. So that way you guys will have a little bit more content to view and show and all that other stuff. So bear with me, more content's coming your way. Alright, moving on to the video. So the next tip I want to talk about is fast travel, now that we're on the star map here. So this is a little tip so that way people don't have to constantly go back to the ship and then, go back into orbit and then jump to the nearest system and then all this other stuff. Pretty much once you go to a system and land on a planet, that unlocks that planet for fast travel. So you could be like in a building or pretty much in the main area of New Atlantis, and if you go back to an area that you've already explored, you can just hit the star map, hit fast travel, and you'll be there instantly. That way you don't gotta hop into your ship, go into orbit, all that other stupid stuff, and that'll save you a lot of time, especially since this game requires an SSD. The load times are actually pretty quick. And the next tip that I wanted to go over is track your materials. So this will definitely come in handy when you start to research stuff or weapon modding or spacesuit design crafting or anything like that. So when you go to a certain recipe or trying to go to a certain mod or whatever it is, there'll be a button down in the bottom right hand corner. I believe it's R on keyboard. That way you can track the current materials that is required to make whatever you're trying to do. And that way it'll put a little blue magnifying glass next to that material, and you can go off and scan planets and pretty much find what material that you're trying to find. And also if you go to vendors, it will also put a little magnifying glass icon next to that. That way you can just kind of buy what you need and not have to just pretty much sift through and trying to figure out what you're trying to do. So just a nice little neat tip there. So the next tip I want to go over is actually different weapon and item tiers in the game. So as you're leveling up in Starfield, there's 5 different weapon tiers or item tiers in the game. You have the base item, so it's just the name of the item. So you, like for instance, the cutter or the hard target or the drumbeat, it's just the name of the weapon. And then there's calibrated, then one up from that is refined, one up from that is advanced, and then one up from that is superior, superior being the highest tier weapon or item tier in the game. So you want to keep this in mind when you're going from gun to gun, especially if you're weapon modding or weapon crafting. So let's say you have a base Grendel assault rifle, and then if you get an advanced Grendel, it'll do a lot more damage, and then that way it'll be a lot more in tune to what level that your character is. Of course, if you're playing on higher difficulties, usually stuff will tend to drop on higher tiers as well. So something to keep in mind. That way, if you're sticking with a gun for quite a while and you're noticing kind of like damage drop off, or like, I got to use more ammo, or it's not really killing people quickly, you might want to look for an advanced or refined or whatever next tier that you want to look for. And then going on to our next tip, sleep often. Find a bed or pretty much put a captain quarters into your ship, and every time you sleep, I think it's more than an hour, or maybe it might be just an hour, you will get the well rested passive bonus. And you want to make sure that you have this quite a bit, especially if you want to make your leveling up efficient, whether if you're destroying ships, completing quests, anything like that. Just keep up to date on that. All you got to do is go to your menu and then hit B for status, and then that way you can take a look and make sure that you have the well rested. It gives you a 10% XP gain. So nice little tip there. And the final tip that I want to share with you guys today is loot everything. And yes, I know that sounds pretty self-explanatory, but this is a Bethesda game, and almost everything that you can find is lootable. I would actually keep out for items that actually specifically say, hey, this is used for weapon crafting or item crafting or anything like that. You don't want to just pick up any random stuff like hammers or cups or folders or anything like that. And you can actually pull up your scanner and it'll show you what items are lootable. They're like highlighted in blue, so if you're just having trouble finding stuff, you can actually pull up your scanner real quick to help you out. So nice little quick tip there. But that's actually going to be it for today's video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, like I said, don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe for more content coming your way. I know I got a lot of stuff planned for this game, and then also I'm trying to make some room for Liza P and then Lords of the Fallen, especially doing a live stream Let's Play or something with Spider-Man. So trust me, more content's coming, you guys. If you guys enjoyed this, I appreciate all the comments, all the views, and anybody who watches this. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll catch you on the next video. Deuces.